Well, last week you saw me in Kansas with my daughter Jaylee, maybe the most unforgettable hunt I've been a part of to this point. She shoots a great deer. But what you didn't get to see is Jaylee and I, who we're in camp with, and that was the Young Guns organization, an organization that specializes in taking handicapped, disability, people that maybe don't have the chance to go hunt, and bring them to Kansas, paired up with Randy Jennis and Josh, and it's an unbelievable time, let me tell you. All right, I'm gonna get around here.
You're like, come on.
I'm like, don't you dare.
Well, after last year's hunt, you know, I was so excited for this year because that experience with Britton and Dallas was the highlight of my year. And knowing I was gonna get to do it again was an incredible feeling for me. And to be able to take my little boy at 7 years old, Grayson, and let him experience not only his first hunt, but to experience that with those young men, that's really what the great outdoors is all about. I'll take a number 9. Summer work had kept us extremely busy, and we weren't able to make it to Kansas as much as we wanted to. So we got there a day early. Jeff and Jaylee actually beat us there doing some work, but we wanted to be able to do a little bit of work and prepare the next morning too, before we had that first day evening hunt.
Well, hello, Grayson.
Hi.
You ready to deer hunt, bub?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We were lucky in this hunt because my buddy Randy had done a lot of work with the covert cameras and doing most of the scouting for us. He knew pretty much right where the deer were at. We were able to look at them pictures and tell when they were there. And it enabled us the ability to just kind of go in and do the work we needed to, building a few blinds in preparation for maybe the different winds we were going to have.
Is that the 10 or 8?
It's got way more than 10.
Got way more than 10. Look, he's got a big old drop time.
No, I mean, they're in there all the, I mean, the bucks are in there later, but there's deer in there all day.
The good news for us is the covert cameras are showing us that there's a lot of big bucks in that area. So we just got to hope that they come out before dark tomorrow with all this heat.
Hey everybody, this is me and my daddy, and I just wanted to say this has been a perfect day, and we're just getting ready, and
We're going to go out for your very first hunt ever, right?
mm-hmm.
We went and made a blind, didn't we?
Yeah, out of old tree limbs.
Yeah, out of old cedar limbs, didn't
Yeah.
we? Mm-hmm. All the deer coming out in that food plot?
Yeah,
Yeah. Randy and Josh, they've been helping us out a lot, haven't they?
yeah,
We've been home with Mommy being sick,
and
and they helped us out. They done all the work and trail camera work ahead of time, didn't they?
yeah.
Grayson is hunting with his 243 CBA Scout. And who in the world would not want to be doing that right now in Kansas? We're in a beautiful little spot. This is a corner. There's a whole bunch of cedar on both sides of this tree row. And there's alfalfa right here. And there's a little food plot. We're sitting on a little food plot.
We had a food plot that was actually a little bit of wheat and a little bit of oats. And there was a perfect group of trees there we had built a homemade ground blind in so that Grayson had plenty of area to move. You know, it was his first hunt and we didn't want to get limited in a ground blind there. But we had the perfect situation because there was a huge bedding area with a really big water hole to our southeast. And with a south-southeast wind, it was a perfect spot for that first evening.
Hopefully tonight we can get some maybe even get lucky and get a big buck on the first night. They've got 3 or 4 really, really good deer. A couple up in velvet, big 8-point, 140s, 8-point, and hardhorn. So there's a bunch of turkeys coming in right over here.
You know, the first night was slow because of the heat, but being able to experience this with my boy, this is why I wanted to take him there. You know, being part of a deer camp is how I grew up, and that's why I wanted him to experience this in his first hunt.
I believe we should get our kids in the outdoors. We should help others get in the outdoors. And you know, as Javid and Terry went out to shoot these guns and seeing everyone help them, Randy, and the opportunity for us to help, it was amazing. I mean, seeing Javid, you know, he's no arms, one leg, and to step up like nothing, grab a gun, shoot down range 100 yards. I mean, that right there is pretty heartfelt stuff.
Hey!
I'm just glad to be there and be a part of it, and I was glad that my daughter was there and got to see this and be a part of it.
I really felt God teaching me patience and endurance through the whole deal. I also got to see people being selfless, and that had a big impact on me too.
You like Terry? No, senor. I said ma'am. Oh.
Well, here it is, day 2 in Kansas, and we're in the same spot we were yesterday. We saw a ton of does, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And one little buck ran at dark. It's a lot windier today, a little bit warmer, but you never know. I mean, it's a really good spot. We brought in a few more cedars and actually darkened it up a little bit, hoping that a few of them does wouldn't, that we feel like that they might have been seeing a reflection, you know, from the sun when it was coming down over there. So, whoa, right there's a doe.
You know, so many times in life, I think we get to feeling sorry for ourselves, or maybe we take things for granted. And after spending time with Javid and Terry both, and watching Javid live a normal life with no hands and one leg, that's pretty inspirational. You got, I guess, 7 kids, is that correct?
Yes.
And Javid you've had him since he was,
He come home when he was 2.5.
2.5 years old. From where?
From India.
It's just the way God wanted me.
That's awesome. What did you think, you know, obviously when you first met Javid?
I wasn't sure what he was able to do, and I didn't know if people would need to help him do different things, so then I quickly learned that that was not the case.
You know, Javid and the way he handles things is such an inspiration to all of us.
Well, I heard a question earlier, someone asked you if you wish you had hands, you said no.
Nope. With being used to it so much, it'd be weird to start over with trying to get used to those.
Yeah. Well, I've seen you put a football out there at perfect spiral better than I can throw one, in about 50 yards, so I don't think you need them. It probably would be fair to the other kids to get armed. So Young Guns, you guys, how did y'all, because I think you got a hold of a name, is that right, Cody?
Yeah, a friend of mine from work told me about it, and he got some information and did an application. And then Nate got back with me later and asked for a little bit more information about Javid and his life and his desire to hunt.
I've always known just to use this little finger. I've shot like 22s and BBs before with that, so basically I guess ever since I've shot a gun I've used that.
Okay.
Pat.
For all you hard-working Americans, we make this ammo for you. American trusted, American made. Buffalo Cartridge Company.
Pat. Buddy, he's down.
Yes.
Dumped him right where he was standing.
Holy cow. You're the man, buddy. What do you think?
Excited.
Holy cow.
I know it's only the first night, but that's a pretty decent buck.
That's a nice buck. That's a nice buck.
You did it, buddy. What do you think?
It's exciting.
What do you think of the whole trip? How's it been?
It's been fun, a lot of fun.
The gun setup worked for you?
Oh yeah, it's really
Sweet.
cool. Yeah.
Able to shoot your own deer.
Yep.
What do you think, Dad? How's this trip been for you?
Oh, it's been a chance of a lifetime for us to be able to come out here, and he always wants to do it himself, and now he did it today. From loading the gun to finding the buck in his scope and pulling the trigger, he did it all. I mean, that's what we've been hoping and wishing for, and he was able to do it today. So.
And he did awesome. I mean,
did a great job.
You don't shoot any better than that. Hope the others are having good luck too.
Buddy! Oh, congratulations! Did you go like kiss afterwards?
A little bit. I wasn't extremely shaky, but.
We get back to camp that night after the hunt, and we find out Javid wasn't the only one that killed that night.
Dude, you didn't want to hunt or what? You just go out in a little bit and kill. Good job, man. How was it?
Good.
So how'd your heart do? Did your heart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really shaking after.
Good shot.
Man.
Congratulations. That's a nice shot, Terry.
I was starting to squeeze that trigger like I didn't know if I wanted to or not. I didn't want to mess it up.
You shot him good. You shot him good. That is beautiful deer.
The guy really can't put it into words watching these young men go out and shoot their very first deer.
Well, it's an amazing experience to be part of these young men's first hunt, and this is really what it's all about. It's what we all should be focusing on, and now it's just time to get Grayson on his first deer. Today is going to be our 5th day. You know, it's tough when you got a 7-year-old boy, his first hunt. You know, you want him to enjoy it, want him to see deer, and I really thought on this hunt we'd at least see a lot of deer. And we started out on first night seeing a lot of deer, but it hasn't ended up that way. This weather, I mean, hot and windy, it turned off really, really hot. So I'm just hoping that I'll be able to get him on a deer so he's not disappointed. I don't want him to be disappointed on his first hunting trip. You know, you want that to be a good experience.
Grayson's been a real trooper. We've only seen one deer buck over a year and a half old, but we got a perfect wind, so we decided to come back. We checked the camera. There was a couple good bucks on here when they're about in daylight last couple nights, which figures the nights we weren't here, but there's a big storm moving in, as you can hear. We might end up getting wet here, I'm not sure, but it should move through. It's definitely cooler tonight's the night. If we got a chance, tonight's the night. There's a wind blowing that way. We had a doe come out, but I think the wind was sucking now. It's just all of a sudden picked up. We're about to get hammered. Storm moved through and it was unbelievable. We got a little bit of rain, but it went heavy. It broke right down the middle and went right by. Maybe a deer will get up and move now after it rained a little bit.
This time of year, you have to let the wind dictate where you go. You cannot try to manipulate the wind. You just got to let it lead you. And whatever happens, you just let it happen. And this was the right spot with the water and the heat, the way it still was. We knew we could tuck in there close, and that was about as close as we could get to most of these deer in bedding area and water, and that's where we were going that night.
Don't worry about it. I'm gonna shake. We're squeezing the gun so hard. Take a deep breath. There you go. I'll shoot him. I think he did the double kick. Give you 5. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Let's go see my gun. Wait a minute. I gotta give it a minute. Is your heart beating? Yeah, it's really fast.
Well, I'm so proud of Grayson and, you know, the way he stuck it out this week. It's been a tough hunt. A lot of times the kids that age can't deal with not seeing deer. You have to see a lot of deer, and we just didn't see very many this hunt, but he was raring to go, and that last night, there was no give in him.
Hey, Randy. Yeah. Yes, I got a big monster 8-point. Yeah.
He shot him. He ran down in the woods, so.
Okay, when did you shoot it? Just a little bit ago?
Oh, 15 minutes ago.
We'll be in there in about 10 minutes.
Okay, all right, bye. Where'd you aim?
I'm right behind the shoulder. Oh, I hope I did. Did you spill some blood so I can see?
I don't know.
If you did, it'll be easy to find.
Thank you. I'm proud of you. It looked like he smoked him right behind the shoulder. I mean, it's kind of, we didn't got it in slow-mo, but it looked like it, and then he double kicked. So I think it's that little, maybe the bump 9. Yeah, right here's his track, ready? Yeah. Tell him to go. Grayson. That looks like longbuck. Look at that. Oh. Look at that 8-point.
I got him right there. Right there.
Yeah. Grab a hold of his horns, buddy. Oh, Daddy's so proud of you. What an awesome buck, Bubby. Hey, I'm so proud of you.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. You got you an 8-pointer.
This is a giant.
Boy, I'm so proud of you. You hunted so hard. It's been a tough week, hasn't it? It turned off hot and windy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I got me a monster buck.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you. Who do we got to thank for?
Randy and Josh.
Yeah, uh-huh. It's been an unbelievable week here. We had 2 amazing youth in camp and got to witness them shoot. And to be able to shoot a buck, his first buck, this is a blessing. I want to tell you, I was beginning to wonder, it's our last night too, and we got to go home in the morning.
Randy and Josh are both big buck hunters, and for them to give up their ground like this is unreal. Randy's daughter, Emery, had been hunting, and we get the call, and sure enough, she killed one. But she didn't just kill one, she killed the one. What did he score?
193 and 7/8. Now the real work begins.
I look back at this episode and reflect. I look at my daughter, I looked at young men, and I see contentness. And that to me is what we can learn from this episode. You know, Philippians 4:13 says we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Now, I think so many times we take that out of context. If you read, 4:12, it says we are to be content right where we're at. Remember, Paul was in prison when he wrote that. So to me, I know you have things going on. You have circumstances. I have circumstances. We need to look to Jesus Christ because he is sufficient for all of us. If you don't know Jesus, make sure you talk to someone that can lead you to that. Read his word and just remember, he is sufficient right where you are.